Hello and welcome to the Nook Book Review. I'm Ghena El Hariri. Today we're diving into Al-Fitna, also titled The Sedition by Kanan Makiya. Let me just say, this is not a book you read for comfort. It is a book you read the way you might crack open a classified file, anxiously, with one hand ready to slam it shut. There's no warm-up here, no gentle storytelling arc. Makiya throws you into the final hours of Saddam Hussein's life, not from the dictator's perspective, but through the eyes of a young soldier in the army of the awaited Imam, one of the men tasked with guarding Saddam before his execution. You think this is going to be a story about the tyrant? Think again, because Saddam isn't the villain here. He's just the ghost in the prologue. The real horror starts after his fall. At the rotting heart of Al-Fitna is the brutal, real-life murder of Sayyid Abdul Majid al-Khoei, a clerk, a man of stature, hacked to death in Najaf's holy shrine on the very day Baghdad fell. Makiya doesn't pull punches. He accuses Muqtada Sadr's men for the killing. More than that, he claims Sadr himself gave the order, take him and be done with him. And done meant dozens of knives dragged through the streets, left bleeding in the streets of Najaf. It is devastating, but that's just the beginning. Because Al-Fitna isn't just about one crime, it's about a culture of betrayal that took root the moment Saddam's statue fell and never stopped growing. Between 2003 and 2006, the novel tells us 268 armed groups emerged in Iraq. That's right, 268 militias blooming like weeds in a poisoned garden. Makiya walks us through the internal warfare of Shia political dynasties, al-Hakim, al-Sadr, al-Khoei, not as religious dispute, but as blood-soaked struggles for control of shrines, of followers, of power. This is not theological debate, this is politics with knives. The novel is told in 3 acts. Act 1 is Saddam's execution, told like a political autopsy where the ceremony of justice becomes theater and sectarianism plays the lead role. Act 2 dives deep into the Khoei assassination. Witness statements, forged files, a murder recast as mob justice, a crime buried beneath national unity. Act 3, a fictional dialogue between Saddam and his executioner. Yes, it sounds insane, but somehow it works. Through the conversation, Makiya examines betrayal, power, and the haunting realization that those who came after the tyrant were, in many ways, just a new flavor of the same poison. But the most shocking moment, it is not in the plot. It is the final chapter, when Kanan Makiya turns the blade on himself. He apologizes to Iraq, to the Shia community, to history, because he admits that he helped elevate the very men who would go on to betray everything they promised. He thought he was amplifying the voice of freedom. Instead, he says, he helped hand the country to opportunists and charlatans. His word, they do not deserve to be called opponent of the Ba'ath regime. They do not deserve to rule anyone. Al-Fitna is not a novel. It's a confession dressed in fiction. It's requiem for Iraq, soaked in facts too painful to forget and too dangerous to ignore. So, if you're looking for comfort, look elsewhere. If you want redemption, you won't find it here. But if you want the raw, unvarnished, deeply uncomfortable truth of what came after Saddam, then open this book, but do it carefully. Because Al-Fitna doesn't just tell a story, it remembers what others tried to forget, and in doing so, it demands that we remember too.